the greatest men's marathoner in history, is going to be running the Tokyo Marathon. Gordon, it was announced on Friday morning, put a post up on his Instagram, said, let's meet in Tokyo soon. There was a little bit of confusion based on if he could get into the country to run this race due to Japan's COVID laws, but March 6th, 2022, Kipchoge will be there. He's never raced in Tokyo. If he wins that major, only two will remain, New York and Boston. And he's going to be going against a tough field. This isn't a situation where it's just him and then a bunch of supporting actors. Now, anytime Kipchoge is in a race, he is going to be the main guy. But you got Garamu in there, you got Berhanu Legesse, you have Amos Kiprutu, some guys with very fast personal bests, some guys with real serious major marathon performances. So he's going to have to be in shape. He's obviously the big favorite, but there's a solid field of guys capable of running anywhere from 202 all the way up to 205 here. So this is a race where Kipchoge is going to need to be not peak Kipchoge because nobody can touch peak Kipchoge, but he's going to need to be peak adjacent to get this win. And I'm excited to see him on a different course.
And in a way, there's a lot of pressure on this race because he wants to win in every major,
Yeah.
and he's running out of. He's not like oh, I'll be back next year for the next year's Tokyo. I have like multiple attempts at Tokyo. Like in these
Yeah.
final Chicago, New York, and Tokyo attempts, kind of wants to go one for one in each. So there's a little bit of a pressure. Like this is your one opportunity to get the win,
Yeah.
and so I'll be excited to see him whether he could pull it off and then continue this run to check off Boston and check off New York. And people can watch this live on FloTrack. The race is being live streamed on FloTrack, so that'll be fun. If you live in the
Mhm.
U.S., you can watch it live. I'm not sure what time in the is it. It's gonna be a or middle of the day, middle of the morning type situation, middle of the night. The time
Middle of the night
zones, yeah,
for
middle
the
of the night,
US. Middle
yeah,
of the night,
for
yeah.
the U.S. Middle of the night,
Or
so
might even be evening.
evening. I
Might
don't
be
know.
dinner watching. Maybe you can,
Dinner.
yeah, have dinner and dessert and watch Eliud Kipchoge. I'm not sure. We'll get some confirmation on the time zone later. I think you hit on a good point. If it really is his goal to hit all the majors, then you got to do it the first time. You can't do
Yeah.
the return flight. You got to buy basically one ticket to Tokyo and get it done. But this field is tough. This is not a walkover. There's sometimes in Kipchoge's career and other marathon stars' career where you look at it and you say, this is completely set up for this person to win. It's not one of those races with those guys. They definitely could have had a much more watered down field. Some of these guys could have gone to other marathons. I know spring this year is still a little bit wonky because London is not going to be in the spring. So that just leaves Boston as the major in the spring. So a lot of these gentlemen needed a marathon to run, but still, it's tough. It's tough. Um, and I know we expect greatness every time out from Kipchoge, but we're going to need one of those guys is going to pop, right? One of those guys is going to run a really good race. The odds are just in their favor of one of them being able to have a good breakthrough, and Kipchoge is going to need to be able to manage that. I think he will. I don't think he's choosing his races haphazardly. I think he knows exactly what type of shape he's in. I expect him to get the victory, but I'm happy for the fans out there too to get to see him. Just as I'm going
Yeah.
to be really happy for the Boston and New York fans if he eventually does come to Boston and New York because it feels like he's on the end of his career tour where everybody just wants to catch a glimpse of the greatest men's marathoner of all time just to see him fly past.
And we know the Japanese culture loves running, distance running, right? They they do a phenomenal job with
Hmm.
their like culture of long distance running. I mean, they every year they have like 50 plus runners on the men's and women's side run like elite time. So it's
Yeah,
very a country that's going to appreciate his presence. They're going to appreciate
yeah.
his greatness because they know what he has done. So that'll be cool. And again, get to watch it live on Flow, which will be cool. So I'm excited.
Side note, Kipchoge's Instagram hit rate is like 100%. Like he's never posted anything on Instagram where I'm like, that's not that good. I don't know if that translated. Like this is a great race announcement, by the way. Everything he does just seems like it's amazing. Here's some stats here. David Monti on Twitter. In Japan, road running, we can really see the impact of Super Shoes. Sunday's corporate half marathon challenge had. Okay, here you go. So your point about how many elites are there. They had 15 sub 61s, 56 sub 62s. This is the men, obviously, and then 110 men sub 63. That's some depth when you talk about
Yeah.
appreciating distance running. And a lot of it comes from, as you mentioned, just the support, the Ekidens. Obviously, people see the clips or maybe watch some of those races live where there's so much money and enthusiasm into those races. So it's a cool place to have it. It feels as if he will be fully appreciated for the quality of athlete that he is in this race. And I'm excited to watch it.
And then also Sarah Hall on the American side
Mm.
is running the Tokyo Marathon. So are we on a American record alert? I mean, she's just coming off her
Ooh.
half marathon American record. I'm not sure how the Tokyo course is for quick times. It's obviously not a Berlin or a London or a quick flat course. I don't know, but
Well, let's let
it'll be
let's let Kipchoge run it first, and then we'll know how
yeah,
fast it is
yeah. It was
to
good.
test it
Well,
out.
no, they'll be running at the same time though. So Sarah Hall, be excited to see her come back after her half marathon. Um, and see what she can do in the full. Sarah's not is Sarah in the world championships? I forget. Who's the three that are
It's
the
Bates, it's Saito, and it's Hall. I thought.
Halls in it? Okay. She is?
Yeah, right.
Bates, yeah.
It
Okay, that
changed.
makes sense. Yeah, that's
You
right.
have
Yeah,
it.
yeah,
You
yeah,
have
yeah.
it in front of you.
I don't know. For some reason I keep on associating Sarah Hall as like the one who didn't get in because she's one of our greatest of all time runners who just always for some reason has to be like on the outside, like zagging while everyone else is zigging. She's going to Berlin and running her fast, getting top three finish. Meanwhile, others are at the
Mhm.
Olympics or whatever. So, but okay, that makes sense. Yeah, she's
Yeah.
on the team. But yeah, I'm
I
excited to see
mean,
what she does in Tokyo.
that course, the course is quick, right? It's a major marathon course. They're not throwing in crazy hills. I'm looking at the course record here. Um, let's see, what is it? What is the course record? Can't really find it right now. Two. I think more the issue has been in the past that like the depth of the field isn't there because remember this was a they were not an original world marathon major and they came at a time in the year which was different from everybody else a little bit earlier. So I think that was more part of it. Like they just didn't have the crazy fields, but there's some
Yeah,
fast times there. I thought D'Amato's record wasn't going to last more than a couple of years. When we talked about that post Houston, I thought either she would break it again or somebody else would break it. So this would be the first. This would be the first true test of that
of that record.
idea. But
Yeah.
yeah, 100%. I mean, so Salpeter ran 217 there for the women in 2020. Um, so it's quick. It's quick, Gordon.
Yeah. But she's going to be there. So obviously Sarah Hall's going to be there. And then there's a few other elite women that I saw on the start lists for Tokyo. Um, who else
Yeah. Well,
is?
Bridget Kosgei. How about Bridget
Yeah,
Kosgei?
yeah,
Two.
Bridget Koska.
So world record holder. You have Angela Tanui. So you have world record holder, and then you have several other women who are sub 220, and then Hall who's run 220.32. So listen, it's men's and women's will both be really good, and I'd expect to see course records and potentially American records as well would be in the mix. But we'll see. We'll see, right? Everything's got to go perfect or close to perfect, near perfect on the build up, and then you have to have a good day, weather wise, pacing wise. So lot can change. But the point is, the marathon that's going to be a good marathon this year, and with London not being in the spring, we know Boston's going to be stacked, but London's going to be really good too.
Yeah, should be good. And again, watch it live on FloTrack, the Tokyo Marathon. Speaking